Testimony continues today in the trial for a former Lonoke County Sheriff's deputy accused of shooting and killing an unarmed teen during a traffic stop. I'm Michael Aaron with a recap of day one in this trial.
Yesterday was dreary, overcast and wet, but today we're going to see a lot of sunshine. It's going to feel great outside as well. The spring-like weather, it's only here for a couple of days. We'll talk about it coming right up.
And we all continue to feel the pain at the pump.
Trying to save some money, I decided to have membership with Costco so I get cheaper prices.
At 6:15, we take a look at ways you can save money on gas.
And now, Wake Up Central on THV 11, featuring Amanda Yeager, meteorologist Scott Covert, and Hayden Balgavy.
Welcome to Wake Up Central. It is Wednesday, March 16th.
It is. It was a foggy start to this Wednesday, but Scott Covert, what you're telling me is we're finally, after what, 2-3 days, going to get a little sunshine today?
Going to get a little sunshine today. In fact, it's going to be a beautiful day. We got to burn that fog off first, and there is a decent amount of fog around the area. Morrilton visibility now down to just 0. Hot Springs, quarter-mile visibility there in the Spa City. Camden, 0-mile visibility. About a half-mile in Russellville. That fog, it's going to be stubborn. It's going to linger with us through the morning, eventually burning off by around 8-9 o'clock this morning. 50 right now in Little Rock. So in the temperature department, we're not too bad. Pretty mild start to our day. We'll continue warming things up all the way to 70 degrees this afternoon under a gorgeous sky full of sunshine. Tomorrow's nice. We have some rain on Friday. We'll have to talk about that, and then we'll also get a preview of what the weekend has in store. More details straight ahead.
6:02, and in just a few hours, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky will speak to Congress. He's expected to renew his calls for a no-fly zone over Ukraine, as well as more fighter jets for the Ukrainian military.
Now, this comes after President Biden signed into law a federal budget that gives billions of dollars to Ukraine. Laura Podesta reports on what is expected in the Ukrainian president's message to U.S. lawmakers.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky will virtually address Congress today.
Our friend.
Yesterday, he spoke to Canada's parliament, asking lawmakers to picture what it would be like if the fighting was taking place in their cities.
Can you imagine hearing your children hear all these severe explosions, bombing of airport, bombing of Ottawa airport?
He repeated his call for a no-fly zone, something he's expected to do again today. But the West has refused out of fear for an all-out war, as NATO pilots would be directly engaged with the Russians. Next week, President Biden has an opportunity to reaffirm alliances with much of Europe when he travels to Brussels for an emergency NATO summit.
The president's a big believer in face-to-face diplomacy, so it's an opportunity to do exactly that.
The White House didn't say if Mr. Biden will meet with Zelensky. Reporting for Wake Up Central, I'm Laura Podesta.
CBS Mornings will cover today's historic address to Congress in a special report starting at 8. You can watch that speech right here on THV 11.
In Lonoke County today, the trial continues for former Sheriff's Deputy Michael Davis.
He is accused of shooting and killing unarmed teen Hunter Britton during a traffic stop last summer. Wake Up Central's Michael Aaron is live in Cabot with what we can expect this morning.
Hayden, Amanda, an Arkansas State Police investigator will be first on the stand this morning. His testimony actually started yesterday afternoon, capping off a long and eventful day inside the courtroom here. We want to show you some video of defendant Michael Davis walking into the Cabot Readiness Center yesterday, the site for this trial. The trial started Tuesday with jury selection. Once the 9 women and 3 men were seated, opening arguments started at around 2:30 yesterday afternoon. A 16-year-old was the first witness called to the stand. He was in the car with Hunter Britton when Michael Davis pulled them over the morning of June 23rd on Highway 89 just south of Cabot. King says, or that teen, Jordan King, says he never heard Davis give any verbal cues until after Britton was shot. As you recall, the Lonoke County Sheriff fired Davis in July for not having his body camera on during that incident. Yesterday, jurors saw the camera footage that does exist from that body camera. It only shows what happened after Britton was shot. And of course, an emotional day for some of those witnesses and also for Hunter Britton's family here yesterday. The trial will resume here at the Cabot Readiness Center at 9 o'clock this morning. It is expected to go until Friday, possibly even into Monday. We'll be here to keep you updated on what happens. Live in Cabot, Michael Aaron for Wake Up Central.
A lot of eyes on Cabot this morning and afternoon. Michael, thank you very much.
A Hot Spring County Sheriff's Office, along with Malvern Police, now investigating the shooting death of an 18-year-old. Authorities say Dalen Ross, a recent Malvern grad, was shot multiple times and left in a ditch. Investigators say they believe the shooter targeted Dalen. For now, those who knew him are just finding comfort in knowing how he'd want to be remembered.
And I always would think about how Dalen would say, when I go out, man, I don't want nobody sad over me. I want y'all to be happy, bro.
Funeral services for Dalen will happen this Saturday at Malvern High School Auditorium. Right now, no suspects have been named in that case. In Pine Bluff, police need your help finding a murder suspect. Investigators are looking for 22-year-old Ricky Howard Jr. He's wanted for the January 8th shooting death of Calvin Kirkland. The 55-year-old was found dead in a car on West 10th Street. If you see Howard or know where he is, you're asked to call Pine Bluff Police.
Kids have been spending more time in front of computers and tech during the pandemic, but so have predators. The number of reports has surged 35% in the last year of attempted online exploitation. The National Center for Missing and Exploited Children operates a tip line for online exploitation. And in a new report, the center says it received nearly 30 million reports of suspected child sexual exploitation, which is a new all-time high.
Predators recognized there was a moment and an opportunity in a pandemic.
The predators recognized that there was going to be more hours online where teens and children were going to be unsupervised, and they were encouraging each other to seize upon that opportunity.
Nearly all of the tips came from phone and social media companies, which are required to report possible illegal images to the National Center. This year, though, they received more tips about unlawful videos than still images.
New information on a story that has really stuck in a lot of people's minds. It's that horrible rat infestation at a Family Dollar warehouse in West Memphis. Dollar Tree, the parent company of Family Dollar, says it has been subpoenaed over a rat infestation in one of their warehouses. The federal government impaneling a grand jury after a 22-page FDA inspection disclosed the unsettling scope and details of the problem. Now, you may remember when hundreds of Family Dollar locations were forced to close last month after thousands of dead rodents were found at that West Memphis facility. Now, according to the company, the distribution center remains open, but it is operating at limited capacity and not shipping food or cosmetics. Of course, we will continue to follow this as new information becomes available. All right, Scott, what's the one thing we need to know about the weather today?
Yeah, it's going to be a beautiful day. There is some fog out there this morning. Weather Service just issuing a dense fog advisory. That fog's going to burn off, and we're going to have a beautiful day ahead. 70 degrees in Little Rock, 74 in Malvern and Hot Springs. Another nice day on tap tomorrow, but then we got to talk about our next system that brings some showers, some storms to the natural state on Friday. Everything you need to know coming right out.
Straight ahead on Wake Up Central, we all continue to feel the pain at the pump. And this morning, we take a look at ways you can save money on gas.
But first, could daylight savings time become permanent? A look at what lawmakers in Washington are pushing for. That's when Wake Up Central returns in 2 minutes.